Imagine standing at the edge of the universe's most terrifying mystery. A place where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. A place where the laws of physics as we know them break down. Now imagine falling into it. What would happen if you fell into a black hole? Would you be crushed instantly? Would you get stretched like spaghetti? Or could you somehow slip into another universe? Before we dive in, do me a quick favor, hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, once you cross the event horizon, you're not coming back to click anything. All right, let's start with the basics. What is a black hole? A black hole is formed when a massive star collapses under its own gravity. We're talking about stars much heavier than our Sun. After they burn through their nuclear fuel, they explode in a supernova and leave behind a core so dense that nothing can resist its pull. If you squeeze something the size of the Sun into a sphere about 20 kilometers across, you've got yourself a black hole. Think about that for a second. The mass of an entire star in something smaller than a city. Now, the defining feature of a black hole is its event horizon. This is the invisible boundary where the escape velocity is greater than the speed of light. Cross that line, and you're doomed. No signal, no matter, no information can get back out. To the outside universe, you're gone. It's like checking into a cosmic hotel with no checkout option. But what would actually happen to you if you fell in? First, as you approached the black hole, you'd feel the pull of gravity getting stronger and stronger. But here's the twist. The closer you get, the more extreme the difference in gravitational pull between your head and your feet becomes. This difference is called a tidal force. Near a black hole, it's not just noticeable, it's catastrophic. Imagine your feet being closer to the black hole than your head. Your feet are pulled much harder than your head. The result? You get stretched vertically and squeezed horizontally. Scientists have the perfect name for this: spaghettification. Yep, you would literally be stretched into a long, thin noodle of atoms. Delicious, right? Except not. Now, this is where things get weird. To an outside observer watching you fall in, they would never actually see you cross the event horizon. From their perspective, time would appear to slow down for you. The closer you get to the horizon, the slower you seem to move. You'd appear to freeze, stuck at the edge forever, slowly fading away as your light gets stretched into longer and longer wavelengths until you disappear. But from your point of view, time would feel completely normal. You'd fall right through the event horizon without even noticing the exact moment you crossed it. That's the creepy part. There's no giant sign saying, "Welcome to the inside of the black hole." You'd just pass the boundary, and to you it would feel like nothing happened, except everything has changed. Once inside, the laws of physics as we know them break down. General relativity predicts that you would continue falling until you reach the singularity, the infinitely dense point at the center of the black hole. At that point, space and time as we understand them simply stop making sense. All the equations blow up to infinity. It's basically the universe saying, "Sorry, I've got nothing for you here." But here's where theories start to diverge. Some physicists suggest that you would indeed be crushed at the singularity, reduced to your fundamental particles in a fraction of a second. Others propose more exotic possibilities. Maybe black holes are portals to other universes. Maybe the singularity connects to something called a white hole, a hypothetical object that spits matter out instead of sucking it in. Sci-fi writers love this idea, but right now it's pure speculation. Let's rewind a little and think about survival. Is there any chance you could survive falling into a black hole? Well, it depends on the size of the black hole. If you fell into a small, stellar mass black hole, you'd be spaghettified long before you even reached the event horizon. Not fun. But if you fell into a supermassive black hole, the kind at the center of galaxies, with millions or billions of times the mass of the sun, the tidal forces at the horizon are much weaker. In fact, you might not even notice crossing the horizon. You could, in theory, survive the initial plunge. But don't get too excited. Once you're inside, you're still doomed. The singularity waits at the center, and there's no way to avoid it. The only thing you gain is a little extra time to look around. Not that there's much to see, since even light can't escape. It would be the darkest, strangest environment imaginable. And then there's the question of time itself. Einstein's relativity tells us that extreme gravity warps time. To you, falling in, everything feels normal. To the outside world, your time slows almost to a stop. In fact, some scientists suggest that if you fell into a black hole, you could witness the entire future of the universe unfolding outside in what feels like seconds. You might see stars burn out, galaxies collide, and the universe end, all while you're being stretched into spaghetti. Talk about a bad day. Of course, this brings us to one of the biggest mysteries in physics. What happens to information that falls into a black hole? According to quantum theory, information can never truly be destroyed. But black holes seem to swallow everything without a trace. This paradox has puzzled scientists for decades. Some think information is encoded in the surface of the event horizon. Others believe it leaks back out slowly as the black hole evaporates through something called Hawking radiation. Stephen Hawking himself suggested that black holes aren't eternal. They slowly shrink and vanish over unimaginable timescales. So maybe, just maybe, the stuff you drop into a black hole eventually comes back out, but not in any recognizable form. Let's pause for a second. Imagine standing on the edge of a black hole, knowing that one step forward is the end of everything you've ever known. Would you jump? Honestly, I wouldn't. Unless, of course, you guys smash that like button. Then maybe I'd consider it. But in all seriousness, black holes are not just cosmic monsters. They're also windows into the deepest mysteries of the universe. By studying them, we test our understanding of gravity, space, time, and the very fabric of reality. They force us to confront questions like, is there an edge to knowledge? Is there a point where physics simply fails? Now let's do a quick recap. If you fell into a black hole, tidal forces would stretch you into spaghetti. To outside observers, you'd appear frozen at the edge. To you, you'd fall straight through and eventually meet the singularity. Depending on the size of the black hole, you might survive the initial crossing, but only for a short while. And the biggest mystery? What happens to the information that makes you, you? So what's the verdict? Falling into a black hole is one-way ticket. No return, no escape, no Instagram selfies from the inside. But you know what? It's also a reminder of how mind-blowingly strange the universe is. Black holes take our most basic ideas of reality, space, time, matter, and flip them upside down. They show us that the universe is far stranger than we can imagine. So next time you look up at the night sky, remember, somewhere out there, lurking in the dark, are black holes just waiting. And if you ever get too close, well, let's just say you'll make one heck of a cosmic noodle. So what do you think? Would you dare get close to a black hole if you had the chance? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you enjoyed this trip into the abyss. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the weirdest corners of the universe. Because trust me, next time it might not just be spaghetti.